Okay, so we should be recording now, I think, hopefully, all going well. So thanks a lot for joining us, everybody. This session, as I mentioned, is about the orientation program, the new one that we've just set up, and it's called Welcome. So some of you may have been involved. I know Andrea was a orientation lead out at the East for some time, so she'd be familiar with some of it, but some of the detail has been changed a little bit, Andrea. So we have got a new site as well, rather than the Orientation Resource Centre that you've used before. So today what I'm going to do is just run through the new onboarding process, which is called the Welcome Journey, and go through the framework and the key milestones that are set up in the program. The idea of the Welcome Journey is to create a really nice experience for all new starters and for everybody that comes in across the organisation, be it in RSL care or retirement living or from our RDNS perspective, community services, that they all have exactly the same experience. And ideally, we just want to confirm for them that they have made the right decision in joining us. The program entails a lot of information around the organisation, which we haven't had in the past. So we talk about the history, what is the structure of the organisation, what's the purpose of those different business streams, and we introduce also the values. The program goes into a little bit about the roles and responsibilities of different people that are involved in the process. We've changed some names that have been associated with it. There's a lot of different resources that are now available for everybody. I'm just going to check to see that I think I've got a message that's come through. Hi girls, I can hear you. Is everything okay? Oh good, okay. So, yeah. You're all good, I'll mute you. It's all good.
Yay.
Great. That's good. I'll mute you girls so that you don't have to worry about us hearing you.
Okay.
No problem. Okay, so you should all be muted now, so all good. So I'm just going through the intro and just explaining what we're going to be covering. Hopefully you can see the screen with the PowerPoint on it. So there's some various milestones that are built into the program. There's various resources that we've set up, and I'll also be outlining the key responsibilities for different people that are involved in the process. The parts that I'm going through today is really all about the generic information that people will be covered. There is some technical information that relates to different roles, and they are held on a different template, which I'll explain to you in a little bit more detail. So in terms of the roles and responsibilities, we've got obviously the new starter, and then we've got the leader. The leader is considered the person that has a new starter reporting into them. So it could be a CTM, a care manager, it could be a regional manager, CQRM, etc. The idea of the leader, and we're using the term leader because all different streams within the organisation have different titles. So some call them managers, some call them leaders, etc. So we've made it generic. The idea of the leader in this case is to really make sure that they connect with the new starter before they actually commence on day one. So the idea is we'd like them just to give them a call or send them a text or an email just to say, hi, welcome, you'll be reporting into me once you commence. And maybe you could give them a little bit of information about, you know, what to expect on the very first day, certainly about the hours and the security of the building, etc. And then we have a welcome buddy. Previously in all the sites, and currently now actually, we've got orientation leads. So they might do a lot of the process as part of the welcome journey. But in some cases, there might be, for example, people that are based at the site, they might be buddied up with somebody. So we're calling anybody that's involved in supporting somebody through the orientation a welcome buddy. And the reason why we've titled it is because there is a particular section on the new Welcome Centre that's designed specifically for them. The idea of the Welcome Buddy is to train and coach the new starters. Ideally, they've been selected because they've got the expertise and the experience to be able to share with them. And they are designed to be the very first contact for the new starter. So rather than contacting your manager or your leader, it's best to contact them because they should know everything in relation to your program. In some sites, there'll be the administration team that may assist, and that varies from site to site. So some may perhaps be setting up the technology and all that sort of thing. So that will be something that you just need to check in with to see what they do. And then finally, we've got some facilitators, and they are at the induction workshop that we run out at the sites. They do vary a little bit, but based on how long they go for, when they're conducted, and who might be the facilitators, but typically they would be the CNCs and the CQRM. This is the Welcome Centre. This is just a snapshot of what it looks like. I'll go into that in a little bit more detail. But effectively, this is the central location that has anything that you need as part of supporting a new starter into the organisation. So any checklists, any templates, any forms, any links, any resources that you need, they should all be here. And if there is anything that you come across that you think, oh, that'd be good to be there, let us know, because the idea is we want it to be really simple for people to be able to access everything they need. There's a whole suite of different resources that will be available on that Welcome Centre, and I'll just quickly go through those with you as well. The first one is guidelines for the welcome journey. So this is just it can be accessed, you know, as an electronic version, or you can print it out so that the new starter has got a copy and you can use it as perhaps a preceptor. But this pretty much just outlines the step-by-step process that needs to be followed throughout the first 6 months of orientation. And you'll find that the key milestones that I'll go through in a minute are all set out so that we've broken down what are the tasks that need to be covered in day 1 or week 1 or month 3 or month 6, for example. And the information that's contained in that guideline is very much generic stuff. We've taken out anything that's specific to a nurse or to a CCA or to an office manager, for example, and you'll find that there's another form that has got all the details specific to a position that would be used in conjunction with that document. We've got a welcome booklet, which is like the old induction booklet. Originally, we used to hand that out at the Alma Road induction, but we no longer run that session, so we've provided the information in a booklet form. And then there's also a welcome e-learn that's now available today. So through Blue Gem, there's a session called Welcome, and that introduces a new starter to everything about the organisation, how the merger came about, what's the history of all the organisations, what's the structure, how could I find out, how do I access the employee self-service centre, what's Connect. It tells them a whole lot of stuff that they will need probably in the first week. There's also some position checklists, which I talked about before, and these are the templates that contain all the technical information that you need for a particular position. So there'll be one for every single position. We're just developing those at the moment, but certainly for the field staff, they've been completed. And effectively, they are structured with the same milestones, so day 1, week 1, month 3, month 6, and it's been broken down so that we don't overload staff members or new starters with too much information on day 1 or in that first week. And finally, there's the Welcome Centre. So that's accessible via Connect. And as I said before, there's specific pages that help new starters according to their position and for welcome buddies and leaders, etc. So I'll go through those in a minute as well. On the Welcome Centre, we've also, in different positions, we've created some resources that you could use if you wanted to. They're not mandatory, but we've got things like, if, for example, a new care manager came on board, or even maybe a nurse, and they're going to meet a CNC for the first time, or you might be meeting somebody at head office for the first time, we've created a bit of a template just to help you think about, well, what are the types of questions I should ask, and help you just to plan that meeting so it's really productive. So there's a template there which says preparing to build your network. We've also got one for preparing for a site visit. So it also gives you some ideas around the types of roles, the sorts of things you might want to ask. there's a goal setting template, and there's some tips around, you know, how could you develop a really good relationship with this new starter rather than sort of just doubling with them and focusing just on the job itself, but trying to create the relationship with them as well. So this is the journey map. You may have seen this before. We've simplified it a lot so that it's more generic for the whole organisation. And what you'll see here is that there's the 5 key milestones. There's some ticks right along the journey map, and those ticks represent a check-in time, and it's designed for the leader and the new starter to come together and just talk about how they're going. So it's not a formal process, but we've got a template there to facilitate that conversation. And in that template, it talks about what's going well, what's not going so well, what are the challenges, what are some of the development activities that perhaps need to be done. And it's also an opportunity to recognise some of the good stuff that they're doing. In some of the research that I did previously when we were trying to design an orientation program, a lot of the new starters were saying that, you know, they felt like there was just so much information, they felt disconnected, they felt really isolated, and they just felt like it was just really overwhelming. So those check-ins are designed to try and help you develop the relationship and make them feel really comfortable, as well as that opportunity to call them before they start, so they also have got a sense of what it's going to be like. The other icon that you can see on that journey map are these ones here, which are indicate that there's some webinars that might be available. So the first one, as I said, was the Welcome eLearn. We're recommending that people should do that on their first day. And then in week 6, some of you may be aware that we're running some Q&A sessions with subject matter experts. So some of the CNCs, we've got people from DVA, we've got people from care packages, just different people are running some 30-minute sessions, and we're recording them and holding them on the Welcome Centre under the webinar tab. So you may find throughout the orientation that it might be a good opportunity to get the new starters to start looking at some of those as well. They're just another good resource. And they're recorded, as I said, so they can catch up with them at any time. So this is just a summary of the 6-month process. As I said, the key milestones have been set up so that we are really trying to break down the amount of information that somebody gets, and that it looks like it's going to be consistent every time a new person comes on board. And then here is the types of resources that we're recommending you would be looking at each one of those times. So on day 1, you definitely would get them to do the Welcome eLearn. You might print up the Welcome booklet for them, and you would have those guidelines for the Welcome journey. And it's a good idea just to refresh the content of that before they actually start. In week 1, you'll also introduce the position checklist. So this is where I said you've got really technical information. For a nurse, for example, it might talk about Camillus or Gemino or Procura, which may not necessarily apply to everybody across the organisation. You've got your guidelines again, and then there's the Welcome Centre that houses all the resources that are referred to in those 2 documents. On month 1, we've got your position checklist again, same, the guidelines for the Welcome journey and the Welcome Centre. And the big thing to notice here is that that's when you would do that leader check-in. Normally at month 1, at the end of 4 weeks, the Welcome Buddy would also try and connect the new starter and the leader in a conversation, be it over the phone or ideally face-to-face. And the idea there is that the Welcome Buddy is handing over that new starter to the leader, and the leader is then responsible to make sure that they're just checking in and that they're all going okay, and making sure that everything that's contained in those checklists and in that guideline is being followed. So month 3 and month 6 are pretty much the same. There's that check-in template that will help you with the facilitation and preparing for that conversation. So at the end of the program, what we're going to be doing also, or sorry, not at the end of the program, but at 6 weeks, we're going to start surveying our new starters to see how they're finding the process. And we're just trying to monitor how consistent it's being delivered and to see if there's any areas that we could improve it as well. And if there's any ideas that you've got in terms of some of those Q&A sessions that you think that might be helpful for new starters, please let us know, and I'll get some set up for you as well. I'm just going to stop this that share now, and I'm going to show you the Welcome Centre, if I can find it. Just bring it up. Okay, so I'm just about to show you, hopefully this will work. So this is Connect, everybody. If you haven't seen that, hopefully you can all see that. Connect is our new intranet that is replacing Pulse. And I'm just going to show you how you would get into the Welcome Centre. So you go under People, I'm just clicking that, and then you go to Onboarding. And once you get into the onboarding page, which is coming up now, you'll see here, you've just got a link here to the Welcome Centre. So I'm just clicking on that now so I can walk you through that. So this is what it looks like. You'll see that there's a number of different tabs that are all over it. So, and they've all been designed for different reasons. The home page is effectively just an introduction to the Welcome Centre. It tells you what is on the Welcome Centre and how you could use it. And it also gives you a bit of an introduction to the organisation. The My Orientation page is for the new starter. So this would be where it houses anything that they particularly might need. It's just a little bit slow kicking in this morning, but as you can see there, they've got the journey, they've got the key milestones, and then down the bottom here, you'll see that the guidelines for the welcome journey is there. There's the welcome booklet, and then some other development resources that I talked about before that they could access. So if you're working as a welcome buddy, supporting somebody, this would probably be the first page that I'd go to. Get them to have a look at the welcome booklet and just go through the welcome guidelines just so that they understand what to expect over the next 6 months. It also helps them to drive accountability for making sure that it's followed as well. So we all know that sometimes you might set up some doubles to be with a particular staff member and then that gets cancelled and therefore they might miss out on something. So if they know what they've missed out on, they can follow it up. The Welcome Buddy, this page here is designed for you guys. Again, there's some tips around, you know, some different resources that you might want to use, and it sort of highlights here what are some of the responsibilities of a buddy. So as it says there, ideally you're there just to coach them, make them feel comfortable, be the first point of contact, and make sure that they understand how to access everything. So you would also, if it's a nurse that you're inducting, make sure that you're signing off on the clinical skills record of completion. So if you haven't seen any of those resources, I'll show you where they're all located. If you're a care manager or you have staff reporting into you and perhaps you've got some new starters coming on board, then what we've done here is just give you some guidelines around who would be the best welcome buddy. And ideally we're looking obviously for somebody that's got the experience. It would be nice if they wanted to be a buddy rather than just be told, and that they've obviously got the knowledge and the skills that they need. And then there's just some general information there that you might want to read at your own time. Again, there's some orientation sort of development resources you could use as well. The next tabs are designed for the different segments or business streams within the organisation, and community nursing is obviously the one that we're the most interested in. So under community nursing now, you'll see that we are going to have a separate page for every single position under community nursing. The first one I'm going to show you is the RN and EN one, because that's the one that's been most established at the moment, and it's all in a work in progress in terms of trying to fill up these pages. But you'll see here that typically on every page you'll find a position description, you'll find a position checklist, and you'll find any optional development resources that they might need. So I'll just open up this position checklist so that you can see it, which is what I've been referring to a couple of times. And this is what it looks like. So the checklist, what we've done here is we've taken out anything that was specific about a nurse out of the guidelines and we've put it into a separate document. And every position will have a similar looking one. And in here, it will generally suggest who should be responsible for going through what and at what time. So you'll see here the welcome buddy at week 1 would go through the record of completion for the policies. There's some information about, making sure that they've got their ID badge, if it's relevant to the particular role, what systems that they need to do, any training that they need to do, and their clinical skills. So new starters would receive a clinical skills self-evaluation before they start, and they should be filling it out so that when they meet with you when they start on that first week, they can talk about where they think they might be. And it helps you just working out the development that they need over the first 4 weeks. So that's generally it. I'm not going to go into a lot of the detail there, but as I said, it will highlight what training needs to be done. It recommends the things that need to be done at various milestones throughout that first 6 months. And it's a document that should be used in conjunction with those guidelines. The other thing that we're not using is the PM&D. We're not introducing the performance management and development process until after their 6 months. And what we're trying to do is create an individual development plan. It's really simple. It's just highlighting what are the things that we think we need to introduce over the next 6 months while they're on board. And that's also located on the Welcome Centre. So I'm just going to go back now to the Welcome Centre and show you that again, because there's other parts I want to show you. So I'm hoping you can see that. If not, actually, I'll just confirm that you can. Okay, so that's the Welcome Centre again. So as I said, that was the page for the nurse. If you've got a new CCA, this will be their page, and we're obviously in the process of just trying to meet that up with some content as well. But if you need anything there, just let us know. I'd love to hear your feedback anyway if there's something else that you think should be on there. We've also got some information about telehealth, the homeless persons program, allied health, all that sort of information will be in there as well. And if there's anything about the induction workshop, that'll also be in there, so for the sites. Home care's here, residential aged care and retirement living. So if you're interested, just to find out a little bit about them, that's all located there as well. And the last thing I wanted to show you was the webinar series. So this is that last tab. We've been running some sessions to date, and what you'll find in here is some instructions on how to access Zoom, which is the platform we use, and the upcoming webinars. So we've got we're doing an introduction to care packages in July. I think that's going to be the 25th of July now, and there's also one next week from DVA on RAP. These are some sessions that have been run already, so if you're interested or you've got some new starters that you think that would benefit from it, you can just click on that and it will reload that as well for you. So we'll find those there. What else do I want to show you? I might just show you the guidelines, because I don't think I showed them to you. So these are the guidelines. As I said before, this is all the generic information. So every single staff member would have the same, some things that are exactly the same. And how we've structured this booklet is we've now got icons to make it easier for the Welcome Buddy to navigate. So the first icon there is for anything to do with systems or equipment. This one's about policies and procedures. This highlights any discussion points that you might have with a new starter, and these are action points for yourself. This one is for a new starter. So we've got some activities that have been put in there. So for example, it might say that they need to get their policy and procedures signed off. And the last one there is an icon that represents our value teamwork. And we're just giving you some little suggestions on how you might be able to get them to feel part of the team more so than we have in the past. So I know that the North site, for example, have created a document and they're putting the photos of all the nurses that are in a particular LAT, and they've got their contact details and they're sending it out to the new starter so that if they've got any questions, they can contact them and they feel like they know who they're talking to if they're speaking to them over the phone. So these guidelines, it introduces them to the Welcome Centre. It just shows them all the resources that are available. It reminds them of the mandatory training and recommended training, and again, the milestones. It is structured around the milestones. So for example here, before they start, this is some actions for the Welcome Buddy, and it would be things like book in any time to spend with them in their diaries or in your diary. Make sure you review this guideline. Make sure that they've got their emails set up, voicemail set up if you can, providing you've got all the equipment in time, hopefully, and that you're collecting any material. In their new starter pack, I think they get some HR documents which they need to sign off. So you might need to confirm that you've received that as well. So that just gives you a bit of a feel for what it looks like. This is an example of a teamwork exercise where the Welcome Buddy might send an SMS to the new starter on their first day, or before they start, sorry, just to say hi. I'll see you on the first day. Our doors open at say 8:30, or you commence at 8:30, and there's a security pass, so if you just ring the doorbell, I'll come and meet you, or something like that, or ask for me when you come to reception, or something like that. So that's it, guys. That's pretty much the resources. Obviously, I'm not going to go into all the detail, and I've recorded the session so that if it's not for another couple of months before you orient somebody, that you can come back to the recording and refresh your memories about what it was all about. What I am going to do is just unmute you all now and see if there's any questions. So, has anybody got any questions they'd like to ask, or got any feedback? Andrew, can you hear me? Doesn't sound like anyone can. I can't hear any of you. So I'm hoping you've been able to hear me all this time. I'm assuming because you're here. You have been. Okay. So I can hear somebody. Has anyone got any comments?
No, I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, does it sort of make sense? You feel like you've got an understanding of the framework and how it sort of works?
Yes.
Yeah.
Great. So myself, Jacinta Allen, and the orientation leads at all the sites are very familiar with the process now. So if you need any support, feel free to contact any of us. Now, I've just got one question that's come through. Is there a CCA list of skills available yet? Yeah, there is, and it should be available on the Welcome Centre. So I've just had a few of the orientation leads review that. Just remember that we are trying to update them as we go. So if you've got any feedback on them when you have a look at them, let me know, because yeah, I want to make them. I want to make sure that all the resources that you've got are relevant. I've got one more question, I think. They're all coming in now. Okay, I'm just going to get off that one. Okay, so somebody mentioned that there's in the CCA, Andrea, that there's some information in there that isn't specific enough. So that's good feedback. If you just let me know, maybe I'll give you a call, Andrea, and get some more detail around that. But the orientation leads have been compiling that for me, so I'll definitely be in touch with you though. But thank you, everybody. We've only got a few minutes left. If you've got any questions, as I said, please don't hesitate to contact me or send me an email. And yeah, hopefully you'll find the process worthwhile. And if you've got a chance, have a look at the Welcome eLearn, because you might learn a little bit about the organisation as well.
Yeah, good.
Okay, guys, nice to see you. Thanks a lot for joining. See you.
Bye.
Bye.